Welcome back. We got a few extra subscribers. I just wanted to get that out of the way. You guys are legends. We need some more. Try to get me out of the truck. That'd be great. Need a little help. Be good. Anyway, so moving on. We got a little update we're going to do. Just what's going on. Why videos have been a little bit slow coming out. A lot of things have been happening. The computer, my editing rig got a pretty good upgrade, and want to go over that. It's been about a year since I put out a video on the computer, and just kind of go over my setup a little bit for that. Share with you guys what's going on there, maybe a little tips on the water cooling that we got. So we'll get into that, and we'll go into the garage and see what progress has been made on the Trans Am. And that's pretty much what you can see. I'll put a link to the video where we did the last upgrade and cleaning on it, and that'll be up on there as well. So without, let's get you back around and take a close look at what's going on over here. All right, so the upgrades we go here. We got some more monitors. I've got a 42-inch LG OLED as my main display, and then I have my 1440p side displays. On the computer itself, it's got a new CPU block, still the same processor, 12 core. Then we changed the RAM. We got 64 gigs of RAM, dual channel, 232 grams gig sticks. And then we got the 3080 water cooled from Gigabyte. And then I took it apart to clean it. You can see all the covers are off of it. Got everything off. And it's kind of a reverse mullet situation. We got a, party in the front, business in the back. You'll see a rag down here because I took everything apart and cleaned it, because I made the mistake of using, what I like to use in here is antifreeze, just automotive antifreeze. And between the last update, I had straight antifreeze in there. And then when I put the graphics card in, of course I had to drain the loop and refill it. And I only had 50/50 antifreeze. That was a mistake, because it started to get crud all in there because it has water mixed in with it. And water does cool a little bit better than straight antifreeze does, but the amount of cooling that this thing has, it's not even really an issue. So what I did when I had to do this cleaning is take everything, all the tubes apart, clean everything out, and clean out and flush out the block, flush this whole system out, and then refilled it. The process of doing all that with water cooling, this little stubborn fitting here wants to leak on me. So now I'm gonna have to take that apart again, drain it back down a little bit, and see if it needs to change an O-ring on it, or check the O-ring, see what's going on there. This one likes to leak. It's been watching it all night. No point in showing you guys that. It's pretty simple. Just tip it on its side, open up the drains. I got a drain port here that you can unscrew, put in a tube, drain it off to the side. That works pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty much it there. We're going to take that apart, check the fitting out, hopefully get that, and then I got to get the air back out of the system, because this was, when I put it together, there was no air in it. And there's a little bit of air bubble. This is kind of an air trap right up in here. Just kind of traps the air, so you don't want air getting into your pump. And that's it. It's pretty decent setup. So once we get that cleaned up, we'll come back and take a look, get the covers back on it, and hopefully we get that leak stopped, because that'd be a problem. Okay, so we got it up here, and got it apart. I checked the fitting, O-rings, everything looks good. Took the end cap off of the reservoir, and I don't know if we can get this to show up on camera, but what we got there is a nice little crack. Now, it doesn't go all the way through to the back side, but it does go up the threads a little bit. So what I'm thinking, I would think about like maybe heating it up with a little soldering iron and seal it up. However, the O-ring goes around this flat surface, and if you don't have that flat after you heat it up, then you're not going to seal again. So it's coming by the threads there and just slowly seeping through there. I'm thinking a little bit of super glue might fix that, so that's what we're going with. Nice little crack in there. Unfortunate. And if I was going to delete this, I'd have to bend another tube to go all the way from here back to this side. And then obviously I wouldn't have my fancy little reservoir. Alright, so we're back. As you can see, I got it hooked back up, and it's been running my favorite game for a little while. Been gaming on it pretty hard, got it all running, put through its paces, and as you can see, we've stopped the leak. No more leaking. It's in good shape. Next thing I wanted to show you that I thought was kind of neat, and they say that on a water cooling system like this, everything, the loop will kind of equalize, so you're not really going to see a cold side or a hot side or anything. It's just going to equalize the temperatures all the way through. That's what they've been telling me. This is running at 31C right now on the CPU, and the game is active, as you can see, and 4K ultra settings, all you can do on ARC. And the coolest part I noticed is this incoming line is basically room temperature, and the main outcoming line is significantly warm. It goes through to 2 radiators across, and by the time we're doing enough cooling here to actually see a differential between we're seeing temps around 85 on the cold side, and on the hot side 110, 112. That's Fahrenheit. Or let's see, coming out of the GPU are 47, 48 Celsius, about the highest I can get. Right at the CPU, 34. Not far off from what it's reading on the block. 29, 28 coming right out of the radiator. 28, 28, 22. Right on the block, 41. They say everything's supposed to normalize and you'll have enough. Now I don't know if it's because I've got over 2 radiators going, or just more cooling that I'm obviously needing, because I'm definitely getting a cool side to everything. And it's not running stock, it's overclocked a little bit. Got the XMP enabled on the RAM, and everything seems to be good. I thought that was kind of neat though, that they're saying that your loop should equalize and you're not really going to see much difference. But I'm clearly not seeing that. It's definitely a hot side and a cold side. That was interesting. Anyway, that's it. We'll move on to the garage and catch you up to date with the car stuff. Alright, here we are back in the garage. The Camaro's moved over to this side. We've got the Trans Am moved over to that side. It's going to be a while before we get to the Trans Am. We still have to disassemble this whole thing. So I needed room to work around it. I thought this would give me the most space possible. As you can see, we got the windshield out. We got a lot of progress on the dash. We'll get you over here, get in here and look. We got this bar here, so I kind of ran into a little bit of an issue with the bar because this is bolted in from bolts from either side on there, and the way to get to them is underneath the door. And I could get a little finicky and fiddle around and probably get that bolt out without taking the door off, but the door has to come off anyway, so we'll just move into that. And to take the door off, gotta get the fender off. To get the fender off, You gotta get the taken apart from the rocker panel all the way around. That's gotta come off anyway. Front's gotta come off. It's all gotta come apart anyway. So might as well take it off and it'll make my life easier to take the inside of the part. You can see lots of it. I got parts here. I got parts up there. We got parts inside. We got parts all on the dash up here. Sitting on top of the Trans Am. I don't know. Was it a good idea doing this in a garage? I don't know. This is what I got. We've got the column, steering wheel, airbag stuff, A-pillar stuff. You can see I've been labeling every single wire and where it's connected, where it goes, ground loops, everything. All the wiring, all labeled. You can see all the little blue tags. Because it's going to be a while before it comes back together. I will forget, for sure, where that stuff goes. I can't find a schematic. I probably have to maybe go to the dealership and see if they can print me off some of the, like an exploded view of the dash, because there is a lot of stuff in the dash. I did find a video of an older Camaro that they took apart the dash to change a vent that breaks inside of the older ones. Nothing's broken on this one. This one works great. But that dash was completely different and it came apart completely differently. There's a lot more going on in this dash than there was in the older one. I think it was a 2014 Camaro, I believe. So the nice things we got going here, get the windshield out, take apart a lot of these bolts. On the older one, you didn't have to take out the windshield. There was a couple bolts that came in from the top. I guess you could just cut those off at the bottom and shorten the bolt, and then reach in with a wrench and loosen them up, and they'd stay in there and they wouldn't hit the windshield. This one was different. There was a lot of stuff that you just would have fought everything with the windshield in it. Taking apart the whole car, let's take the windshield out. Windshield is in great shape. It'll probably be on eBay eventually, because there's no point. It got me a little kit. You just poke the wire through underneath the rubber, hook on your attachment T-handle. Had my son help me. This thing's annoying. Come on now. Had my son help me, and we just sawed the thing around. And if you're not careful, it will saw through everything. That little cable cuts everything. You can see it cut a little bit out of the headliner. No worries, we're not using that. So by the time we got around and down, we were really careful around the dash, and that didn't cut anything. So that came out great. Other thing we did is there's a whole metal cowl panel here that keeps the air separate from the engine compartment and your air intake on there. And that was what kept, there's a seal, keeps the deal, and holds your windshield wipers that bolt on to these tabs here, and the cowl panel. Very easy mechanism, which is gonna be great because it's gonna be really easy to mount those windshield wipers. That motor and everything on the Trans Am should line up perfect and work great. Now I said that, and now I'm gonna have problems. Great. The other thing we're doing is we're gonna take a plasma and cut out all along there and get the whole firewall and the floor pan. And the reason behind that is all of this stuff is designed and to fit this firewall. It bolts up flush, it's sealed nice. I want to keep that. You get your lines coming through for your heater core, your air conditioning condenser, your evaporator, whichever one it is. All your grommets come through the firewall for wiring, and the brake booster mount, as well as your pedals. gas pedal, brake pedal, clutch pedal. That's all bolted to the firewall. And with this firewall in the Trans Am, it's going to work real nice. The only difference is the width is generally the same. The problem you're going to have is this is taller. Camaro is really high compared to the Trans Am. It's about 4 inches of height difference from the top of here to the bottom of your foot pan. Not a huge deal, but there's a little bit. I might have to section about 2 inches. And the reason not 4 inches is because I don't mind if it sits a little lower in the Trans Am. There's a little bit, that car sits a little higher from the ground, and that will lower the center of gravity and keep everything nice. So if we have to cut along the bottom of the footwell and section out a couple inches between here and there, that would be okay. Really easy to get into. And there's not much left to hold the dash in here. Like I said, I got the 2 bolts. After we get the doors off, that we can get in there. They'll keep the location of the gear shift lever in relationship to the engine transmission in the proper position. Also, the width of the tub for the transmission and the location of the seats that slot in the front and bolt into the back. All that will be the same when it's in the Trans Am. The back seat, we're not going to worry about. I'm probably not going to have a back seat. We'll just have to line it up. There's some cross members on the Trans Am that come in and they bolt to the bottom of the floor. There's some rubber hockey pucks type things bolted in. There's 4 bolts on there. What's going to happen there is it's probably going to get molded into the floor. So we'll cut a slot and actually weld it directly in. Add a couple little braces here and there when we get to that. That'll be in there. I'm trying to think what else we can update on. Like I said, everything's labeled. Continue to label everything. Get this front clip off next. Get the side skirts off, doors off. A lot of work. So as you can see, work continuing. Someone started up a vacuum cleaner. That's great. I work in I drive truck for a living, and I'm gone throughout the week. I'm home on the weekends, and I'm doing what I can to get as much done as I can on the weekends. Obviously, I've got a household to run, and a lot of things happen there. Truck breaks down, loses fenders. That's why that's sitting there. Actually broke off. Fell down, then caught the trailer, and then big old mess. Anyway, those are like $600. Any warranty? No, you eat that. That's great. That's trucking. So, like I said, really want to appreciate again the new subscribers. Get some more subscribers, that'd be great. People that did show up, you're legends. Thanks for watching.